How much of what I'm seeing right now in this background, for those who are watching this, how much is this part of your Maxinista journey?
Let me tell you, this plant right here, you thought it was real? No, honey. Oh, that's and then look at all the leaves that are missing that my daughter has picked off.
She's like,
Just
you know
where
what?
did those go?
They don't need to be here anymore.
Yeah.
Hey there, and welcome to Takeout and Talk, a new series from Cocina and Mecenas Media, where culture's always on the menu, even if it arrives in a paper box. I'm Xorje Olivares, and today I'm joined by somebody who I've admired for years, comedian Anjelah Johnson-Reyes. She's just come out with her 6 hour-long special, which is available on YouTube, both in English and in Spanish. In English, it's called Say I Won't. In Spanish, Díganme que no. It is a continuation of the fantastic work she's been able to do over the past 20 years or so in TV, in film, also on stage. She's currently embarking on her family reunion tour, which is taking her to do 100 plus shows globally, which is pretty cool. She's also doing this in addition to her podcast called Anjelah, where she delves deep into mental health issues and life circumstances and how we can stay rooted in gratitude throughout. So excited to have this conversation, not only about her career, about where she's hoping to go in this journey of motherhood, in addition to being a stand-up comedian, but how living in Nashville has changed her and how throughout it all, she's still that Mexican and Native American girl from San Jose, California. So excited to talk to Anjelah and welcome her to Take Out and Talk. So, Anjelah, so excited to have you join me here on Take Out and Talk, especially because, not to be a weird creeper fan, but like I've been dying to talk to you for several years now. And the fact that I can do so over food feels even
Right.
more exciting.
Look at us.
So thank you for joining me to talk not only about your specials, but about all of the incredible work that you're doing
Thank you.
globally. So thank you for your time.
Wow, globally. Thank you so much.
She's a global superstar. She's going everywhere. We'll be back in San Jose at the beginning of the year, which we will talk about. But first, I want to talk about the food that you ordered to
Mm-hmm.
be able to have this interaction with me today.
Yeah. Okay. So I ordered from a place called Salty Burrito. I've never ordered from this restaurant before, but I was like, I want Mexican. I have not found, since living in Nashville, I have not found my go-to spot. I haven't found it. I've tried little places. I'm like, okay, this works. Like, and you like the food, like with Mexican food especially, you'd be like, okay, like the taco was good, but I didn't like the beans. The beans were blah blah blah,
Hmm.
or the rice and beans were good, but those carnitas was hella greasy. Like, you know what I mean? Like you just can't find the one. So I tried a new place. This was called Salty Burrito, and I just got some tacos. I got some papas tacos, tacos de papas, little potatoes with just cheese, lechuga. There's some tomate on there. And then I got this other one. Oh, and I already took a bite.
As you should.
And then these are some shredded beef crunchy tacos. Crunchy taco is my favorite kind of taco. Like that is highly debated online. Everybody's like, no, street tacos, them little, corn tortillas with the meat, whatever. Nah, bruh, crunchy taco all
Hmm.
day, my guy.
And I love that you have it with the lettuce and the tomato. For those of you who are watching this episode, it's like spilling out in this explosion of
Yeah,
greenery,
yeah.
and that's when you know, like, okay, that's a good crunchy taco because that's how they're usually dressed.
And they
I
sent me with some salsa too. They sent me with a red and a green.
Okay,
So
which is typically your preference? Are you a
red,
spicy kind of girl?
red all day. Green, I don't know. There's something about tomatillos, like it's too tart, I think. I like a roasted red, deep salsa.
Hmm. Now, only because I was lucky enough to see some of the photos of the meal that you received. I saw the beans, got some cheese
Yeah.
sprinkled on the beans.
Uh-huh.
And I feel like, at least for me, the testament to a good Mexican place is in the beans. Have you
Let me
tried
tell
them
you,
yet?
I haven't tried them yet, but they do look really greasy and red to the point where I'm like, is there chorizo in these beans?
Ah, okay.
All right.
It's all about the manteca. Like if there's a good amount of
It's
lard in your
red.
beans,
I think there's
that's when you
chorizo.
know.
Let me tell. I'm gonna take a bite and tell you.
Okay.
Smell first.
Smell test.
Solid.
Okay. Angela's taking a bite of the beans from Salty Burrito.
No chorizo, but these are some good refried beans. They're the pasty kind that's really like blended up. So
Mm-hmm.
some people don't like that. Some people really want like the texture of the bean. This one is really blended, but I like it. I like that. This one you want to like put on a little a tostada.
Yeah.
Yeah, honey.
A
Those
tostada,
are good.
bolillo. Just sometimes
Mm-hmm.
just eat the bean like that and you'll be happy.
Yeah.
So I will say I took a different approach. I should have
Yeah, what
ordered
did you do?
Mexican. So I got a smoked trout bowl from a
What?
Scandinavian place here in San Francisco called Canteen.
First of
It's
all, scan
got
place. That's interesting.
I know. I've been pretty bad as of the past few days. I've gotten a lot of greasy food, a lot of food that I'm
Oh,
like, especially ahead of the holidays. Like I needed to switch things up a little bit. So
yeah,
I
yeah,
got
keep
this
your life
smoked trout
together.
bowl with a creme fraiche dressing. I feel very
Ooh.
like Food Network style now by just saying creme fraiche and dill.
Uh-huh.
It's got some papas on the bottom. It's
Creme
got
fraiche. It's just a mayo with dill.
it is. It's just like a little bit of like something you already have in your house. Cucumbers, pickled onions, and some radish. So,
Sounds delicious, to be honest.
so I did mention that I'm excited to get a chance to talk to you, and I have had the desire to do so for quite some time. And I will say that the other person who was very excited that I was having this conversation with you was my sister, because
Cute.
like you, I am the sibling to an older sister
Uh-huh.
and somebody who I have a very deep relationship with. And I was texting her yesterday, and she was telling me she was going to fix one of her nails that was broken.
Mm-hmm.
And without me prompting her, she just said,
Mm-hmm.
just one nail. And it's the kind of callback that she and I always go back
Yeah.
to because it is from one of your very early comedy routines that is probably one of the more viral videos from that era
Oh yeah.
and has kind of lasted the test of time. And so I wanted to ask you about, especially because these two specials that we have that we want to talk about, the Say I Won't and Dígame que no, both English and Spanish versions, which are available on YouTube. I got to know about you and your work because of YouTube. Like YouTube has had this very interesting place in your life and
Mm-hmm.
in the ability for folks to know about the work you do. Have you kind of recognized that? Like that this outlet that exists is the perfect place and the platform where people have been able to
Yeah.
witness the comedy magic of Anjelah Johnson-Reyes.
Well, it's kind of like why I put my special back, excuse me, back on YouTube because of that. It was originally like this was my first self-produced, self-financed special that I was doing. And I said, I'm going to put it back on the platform that started my career for me all those years ago when that one video went viral. And this was almost like my full circle moment, my thank you to my fans. Hey, thank you for riding with me for all these years because without you sending my videos and clips to everybody you know, people wouldn't be buying tickets to my shows. They wouldn't be coming. They wouldn't be watching my specials. And I've had a very long career. I'm in 19 years now and I don't plan on stopping anytime soon. And I have mostly thanks to YouTube, mostly thanks to people finding my videos and sending it to their friends. And YouTube has it's not just my specials, but there's my behind the scenes videos. People get to know about my life. People get to know about um, the things that I'm into, my funny things that I think are funny that I put out there. So I love that YouTube has become this place that you can curate whatever you want to share with the world. Sometimes I do forget that it is the world watching, because I'll make it and I'll think of like, oh yeah, Joe Schmo is watching this, but also so and so over here in Japan is also watching this, and I'm like, wait, what? This is wild. And then it scares me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea who's watching me right now. But we do this. That's what we do.
Yeah.
We put on our social media. We share our stories. We share our family. We share our photos, and I have no idea who's learning about me. Kind of
Which
scary.
but I feel like if there's anything I've learned about sort of being in the periphery of comedians is you're just fearless by nature. Like putting yourself on stage, doing the material that you do, putting it out there for the world to digest in real time and then get the reactions in real time. Like you have to have the thick enough skin to be able to do
Yeah,
all of that. So
totally.
do you think that that actually like is a part of you still nervous when you put stuff out?
I don't know about nervous. It's more after the fact that I think about it. When I put stuff out there on YouTube, it's like I hope people like it. That's kind of my hope. I hope people respond well to this. I hope, you know, I hope they like what I like, that kind of thing.
Hmm. You start off the special, the Say I Won't special, by acknowledging that you started stand up when you were 24,
Mhm.
and kind of marking the fact that while you were recording the special, you were turning 40.
Mhm.
And I'm just curious, like even at 24, putting yourself into this industry that kind of sometimes can chew you up and spit you out if you're not, of
Yeah.
the harder stuff. Like, was there anything you remember of that 24-year-old Angela where you thought maybe she was nervous, or like anything that you had
Sure.
to contend with that has made you a different comedian today?
I mean, honestly, I would say I was more fearless back then and more fearful now. Especially in this age where comedy has changed and you have to be politically correct, you don't know who you're going to offend. And when I first started, social media wasn't as big as it was. There was YouTube, there was MySpace, um, there was Facebook, but it wasn't like what it is today.
Hmm.
It was the boring one that people were on if you weren't on MySpace. But back then, I think I was more bold to say things and do things, take risks and chances. And now I think I've definitely become more like conservative in what I want to say and share because it's become anyone can see this and take it out of context and clip it up and make it sound like I said something else and woo woo woo.
Yeah.
So I definitely think more about what I say, but also understanding you're never going to please everybody. Somebody's always going to be offended and somebody's always going to be mad. So I always write my material based on if I can sleep at the end of the day. Like if I could lay my head down and rest and I'm not in turmoil inside, then I'm okay saying what I have to say. If
Hmm.
it offends you, that's on you. That's a you thing. That's not me because I'm sleeping just fine and I trust my instincts. I trust my morals. I trust my principles. So I'm like, you know what? You're gonna go ahead and have to deal. You need to take that one to Jesus because that's not my business.
Speaking of Jesus, you do bring up Jesus just a little bit in the special because you have since moved to the South. You now live in Nashville,
Yeah.
and you do talk about the sort of bless your heart
Uh-huh.
nature of how some people
Sure.
interact with folks in the South. Would you say that that transition for you, how has that felt now a few years into you living in Nashville, being away from your native California? How have things been settling for you?
I love it. It's been great. We have a great community out here. Friends, family have moved out here. It's like a slower pace, but not too slow to where I'm like, ugh, I need to go home. Um, it's like a nice balance of like city life, country life, chill. But there's still nightlife, there's still live music, there's still concerts, there's still things happening. Um, but there's a food scene. I love that there's a food scene. And it's just a slower, more relaxed pace for us. So we enjoy that. I can feel the difference. Like when I'm back in LA, because we still live in LA part time, but we're mostly based from Nashville. When I'm back in LA, I can feel the difference of like energy just in the city. It's more hectic. It's more go go go. It's move out of the way. It's this. It's that. And then here it's like I'm the hectic one when I come and I'm like we go. It's green.
They're like,
And
girl, it's
everybody's
not that
like
deep. Like,
we don't honk here. What do you know what I mean? That whole thing. So
mhm. How long does it take you to come up with a special? I mean, doing 6 in and of itself, like, that is such a fantastic milestone to be able to achieve into your career. Like, but when after the 5th special do you start going pen to paper and saying, "You know what? It's time
Yeah.
for another one."
It takes me about 2 to 3 years to put a special together. Um, and that's like a year and a half of writing and touring. So it's not an actual tour, it's more like a writing tour where I'm doing clubs all around town to just figure out what am I talking about in this hour? What do I want to say? And then about a year to a year and a half of touring the actual hour that I wrote and tweaking it here and there, fine tuning it, and then taping it at the end is kind of how I operate. I try to give myself at least a few months off before starting to write again. What usually happens is by the time I get to the end of my hour, I already start adding in some jokes that I don't record for the special. So by the
Mm.
time I record that special, I already have some jokes that I haven't recorded that are already written that I've been traveling with. And so I usually start with that. And I'm like, okay, well, this is what didn't make the last special. Let me start with this and see where this goes.
Has that feeling changed of receiving an audience laugh? Like, especially the cacophony that you receive in those kind of stadiums where I'm assuming that the laughter and the applause just kind of overtakes you. Has that feeling ever changed from when you first started?
It's still very special. Um, I think early in my career when it was brand new, it probably felt different. Like, whoa, what is this? Now it's still special, but it's to the point where I can hear it and I can like know the temperament of the crowd. Like I know what I'm working with based on the laugh that they're giving me. I recognize it more. Where when I was younger, like it's still special, it still feels incredible, but I recognize it now. Like I know, oh, okay, I need to let me shift my energy. Let me, I'm always doing the same material, but I can tell if the audience is tired or just quiet or it's the late show. They were waiting in line outside and it was raining and people are upset. You got to work harder to like get them to like let that go and be present in this moment and have a good time. And then there's times where there was a long line and people are waiting to get in and they're just so excited that they're finally in and they're just like, yes, so it's kind of like you never know what you're walking out to on stage, but once you hear it, then you're like, oh, okay, I know where we're at. I see what I'm working with.
Do you see it as, without projecting too much, do you see it as a superpower that comedians have that in real time, how to shift or maybe move a joke around or do something to make sure that everybody in the room, yourself included, has a good time?
Yeah, I mean, there are times where you have to let it go and know that not everybody is going to have a good time. And I heard somebody say, I forget who it was, some speaker, I saw a video. He was like, he speaks and does conferences and stuff. And he's like, you just have to know that 10% of the people that come that bought a ticket to your event are going to leave unhappy. It's just inevitable. Not everybody is going to love it. There's some people that are going to come see the movie that you wrote and directed and produced and you got this star-studded cast and you poured your heart into it, and there's still going to be people that come and go, it wasn't as good as the last one. I didn't really like this part. It kind of moved too slow. I don't know. It was too like the editing. Like, I don't know. There's always going to be somebody who's not pleased.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to take that into account even in your stand-up show. But I ignore that 10%. And I just focus on the 90% that's having the best time. Because there's times when you're on stage, you see somebody in the audience and they're just like arms crossed and like looking like they're not happy the whole time. And then you can get hyper focused on that person. Like, oh, I'm going to get him to laugh. And then you can't get him to laugh. And then it becomes like you start performing for that person to try to break them. But then you got to stop. You know what? No, don't worry about him. he's his own. You don't know what he dealt with today. You don't know what he's dealing with. You don't know nothing. Focus on everybody else. This lady over here who's just having the best time of her life. Like let's zone in and like and be in this space of gratitude for each other. She's grateful that I'm saying a funny thing, and I'm grateful that she's receiving the funny thing and laughing, and like let's focus on this energy over here. But then there's also times where you see that grumpy guy in the meet and greet and he's like, "Oh man, that was the best." And you're like, "Really? You liked it?"
Like, dude, you're giving me mixed signals here. How was I supposed to figure that out?
Your face was saying other things. So, yeah.
Talk about the importance of releasing this special in Spanish and making sure that a Spanish language audience, those who love comedy, love your work, are able to enjoy this just as much as anybody else.
Well, first of all, how do I wish that I could have performed it in Spanish myself? I would have loved that. But unfortunately, no, I don't speak Spanish. I'm learning. I have a tutor that I'm working with, and our nanny speaks to our daughter only in Spanish. And so she's also teaching me, and I'm learning along with my daughter. My daughter, I think, probably knows more Spanish than I do for sure. And she's 2.5.
Baby steps. We all do what we can.
Thank you. Thank you for that, Grace. I really wanted to, I want to be in touch with my culture and my roots. And I talk about my culture and my roots within my storytelling, but I've never been able to cross that language barrier because I don't speak Spanish. And I'm like, I wonder if there are people who would enjoy my stories if they were in Spanish, so they could understand them more, so they could follow along more. Like maybe they're Spanish and English speaking, but they lean more Spanish. And so they're like, if this was in Spanish, I probably would have got that joke more. Or maybe they don't even speak English at all. I wonder if my stories would relate and connect, even if they don't speak English at all, but they only speak Spanish. So I was like, yes, let's dub this in Spanish. And that was kind of like I had to humble myself. Is that the word? Like I was almost embarrassed that I had to dub it in Spanish. So I was like, is this embarrassing that I'm putting this out there dubbed in Spanish because I don't speak Spanish, but I'm Mexican? And like, it was something I had to wrestle with, that I was like, is this okay? Like, I don't know. And then I just, came back to like, this is more people who get the opportunity to enjoy these stories and laugh at these stories. So, with that, I felt comfortable putting it out there dubbed in Spanish, but it was something that I had to like wrestle with and be like, I'm kind of embarrassed that I have to do this, but at the same time, I'm happy that I get to do this. So it was kind of like that balance.
Well, say, Anjelah, you and I, our Mexican cards are still very strong because I'm from the border. You're from San Jose, California. Like, we come from pretty Mexican places. So I think culturally, even if the command of Spanish isn't always there, the command of the culture is. Yeah. And like, we know our people. I mean, she ordered tacos. She ordered tacos de papa and carnitas. She's good.
Yeah.
I do want to ask you about, because if I'm not mistaken, as I was, watching some of your videos on YouTube ahead of today's conversation, I saw this really special video of you addressing your grandpa, I think at one of the recordings that you did. Mm-hmm. And I'm just curious if you could maybe expand on the history of comedy within the Johnson family, the Johnson-Reyes family, how like you realize that the work that you do comes from a different place.
Yeah. So, every comedian has their own why of why they do what they do, but why they are funny. And it's no secret that a lot of comedians struggle with depression and their demons, and that's part of what makes them funny, is they have a lot of trauma and darkness inside that they're able to make funny. Like Kevin Hart's special, Laugh at My Pain. Like that's what we do. We present our pain so we can all collectively laugh together. So when I first started doing stand up, I was like, I'm a happy person. Like I don't really, I think I write from a place of joy and I just write from happiness. But then as I started to grow and evolve and write and mature, I started to realize that I am tapping into some point of views that have been shaped by trauma. So even though I'm a happy person and I'm a joyful person and I'm writing joyfully and happily, I'm writing with a point of view that has been shaped by trauma. So once I started to embrace that, I think it started to shift the way I would write. And my why of why I'm funny is my family. My dad is hilarious. My grandpa is hilarious. And my grandpa was always like the practical jokester guy. My dad is hilarious. And everything he says always has a punchline to it. Even though if it's a dad joke and you're like, oh my God, dad. Everything he says has a punchline to it. If my dad is having a conversation with you and he hasn't made a punchline, then I'm like, oh, something's wrong. Something's, because he's always got a quick whatever. And my dad was the first comedian that I ever knew. He wasn't a professional comedian, but he was a guy making people laugh. He was the guy that I would watch in every conversation, but bum. And so that's where I learned that. So I would say all my family is funny. My siblings are hilarious. My dad, my grandpa, everybody's funny. Even my grandma, my dad's mom, she wasn't the one that you would look at and go, oh, she's funny, because grandpa was like overtly funny, but she was quick and she was silly and she loved to laugh. So she wanted to laugh all the time. So she would say something silly so that everybody could laugh. So I think my whole family is just funny, and that's my why of why I'm funny. And then my why for why I do stand up is just, it was a gift that was given to me by God, because I had no idea this is what I was going to be doing.
Oh, I love that. The acknowledgement that it's a gift from somebody, like somebody else where you have no control, but you just have to follow the signs and allow it to be.
Yeah.
I will give it up for the grandmas who are secretly funny. So my dad's mom only spoke Spanish, and every time she'd want to go to the casino in my hometown, she'd look at my sister and she said, "Vamos a Walmart." And you knew that if she said Walmart, she really wanted to go to the casino. And you're like, all right, grandma, let's go. Let's get out of here. Now, I do want to acknowledge the beautiful why of what you're doing. You talk about family. So it seems kind of apt that your tour that you're currently on is called the Family Reunion Tour. You're doing 100+ dates. You will be in your native San Jose at the beginning of next year. Talk about the idea behind the tour and kind of if it feels any different this time that you're out.
It's definitely different because I'm touring with a toddler, where I just had my first child at 41, and I've never toured with a kid before. So it's definitely different. It's called the Family Reunion Tour because I've been touring, like I said, for 19 years, and my fans have become like my family. And I've kept some very long-term fans. And so I go back to these same cities year after year, and I have new fans, I have old fans, but it's kind of like I'm having a mini family reunion in every city across the country of like everybody who's been a part of my career over the years. Like, you've watched my video, you're a part of it, come on. You've sent my video, you've been to my show before, come on. Like, everybody, like, bring your family to my Family Reunion Tour. It's a family-friendly show. I'm bringing my family on the tour bus, my husband, my daughter, my dog. The whole team is coming. So it's like we're this family band traveling across the country, having little mini family reunions everywhere we go. And in my hour, I talk about my actual family reunion that we have and share that with people. So that's why it's the family reunion tour.
Can you talk a little bit about like you said, you're 19 years into your career. I remember when I first saw that video, when I was first following your career, there were not many Latina natives. Like there were not a lot of comedians of your background. And I feel like as the time has passed, more and more have felt the beauty and the opportunity to be able to do the work that you do and follow that calling that you describe it as. How does that feel, knowing that you might have gone from such a select few to now a larger group of female women of color comedians who can say what they want to say and do the comedy they want to do?
I love it. It's an honor. It's very cool to say that I played a part in opening doors for people. That's incredible. That's not everybody gets to say that, in whatever industry you're in. Like, that's pretty cool. I guess that's part of, you can look at the glass half full, half empty. Like, oh, there wasn't a lot of opportunity for people like me, whatever. Or you can look at the opportunity that I created for these people. And not to say I alone created this, but just by me following my dreams, by me being brave and bold, by me taking risks, by me trying, by me, when the times were getting really hard, not giving up. By all of those things, I was able to break down some doors. And then now that I'm at a certain place, I can look behind me and see that there's a path, and that there's some young girls over there that are like, hey, I want to do that too. And I'm like, let's go. Here, follow these. And if you see a detour off to the left that looks better, go pave a way that way for somebody else. If you see off this way, like, well, that looks shiny over here, let me go whack through these weeds and make my way that way. Go, so somebody could follow you too. It's very cool. It's very cool that we get to do this and think about, like, not to get too like macro, but thinking even about our ancestors, like, they paved the way. They did stuff so that we could be sitting here on the internet on a Zoom call. And you know what I mean? I think about my Thea Mary, who, she was one of the original Rosie the Riveters for our country during World War II. She, after the war, went on to work in the factories at Levi Strauss making denim. And she worked her way up from the factory to a manager's position. And she did all of that on a third grade education. Third grade is how far her education went. You know what I mean? Like, that's incredible.
I think about that. I think about that often, especially so that grandmother who would talk about going to Walmart, which was the casino. She would sew the pockets on Dickies pants. And there's a video I have of her and her sisters out on the field somewhere up north. And again, that like recentering of, my God, like that this is my history, this is my past, and this is what's allowed me. And unfortunately, she's no longer with us. But like, if only she had been able to see how these things really do pay off, and that dreams manifest themselves in the ways that hopefully we all want them to. I want to ask about, because you've had a chance to do, film, TV. You're now doing your Fungela podcast. If you can talk a little bit about the difference of vulnerability that comes from, like, obviously as a comedian, when you're on stage, there's a level of vulnerability there. But when you're in the comfort of your home or in your studio and you're talking about mental health, you're talking about just like life, that's another muscle that we flex.
Yeah.
How's that been for you?
I love it. It's like a breath of fresh air to not have to, like, in stand-up, you have to cut the fat and get to the punchline, because that's why people are there. They're there for the punchline. In my podcast, I'm able to, like, sit in it, have a meaningful, deep, and rich conversation with someone where there's going to be laughs. We're going to get to laughs for sure. We can't not laugh, but we get to sit in our feelings. We get to sit in process. we get to sit in gratitude, which is the whole premise of the podcast is gratitude. But you get to sit in your memories. You get to sit in this place of authentic connection. We're connecting on this human level, and maybe it's an emotional moment, maybe it's a traumatic moment, maybe it's a hilarious moment, but we're connecting and we get to sit in it. We don't have to hurry up and get to the next punchline, but we get to just sit right here and ask a follow-up question, because that just made me think of this. And now I thought about this in my childhood. I went through this. Did you go through that? Oh my gosh, yeah, I remember this. And then now we're sitting in a different memory that maybe we haven't even thought of in years.
Mm-hmm.
But my memory triggered something in your memory, and now here we are in third grade talking about that one time, woo, 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 woo. And how many opportunities do we get to do that throughout our day? Not very many. So I love it. It's such a breath of fresh air for me.
Would you say your approach to gratitude is a little different now that you are a mother?
I've always been a grateful person, but I think the things that I focus on in my gratitude shift and change from, it used to be very career stuff, and then now I'm just like, oh my God, thank God my daughter's healthy. Like, thank God she rarely gets sick, and I'm so grateful for that. And like, everything is usually her at the center of it. You know what I mean? And it's like, oh my gosh, thank God we had her. Like, she brings so much joy, and wow, she's just so special. And I'm so grateful for her little personality and her little laugh and her little voice. And even in her meltdown moments, like, I'm so grateful that I get to know this other human. Like, she's her own human, and I get to know her. I get to teach her and guide her, but every day I learn something new about her, and I'm like, huh, that's interesting.
How is it when you hear your daughter laugh?
Best sound ever, but it depends on what she's laughing at. Like, I love to make her laugh. If I can get her in a real good giggle, that feels good. And then just hearing her laugh at anything, like, her laugh is just amazing and I love it. But there's something different about, like, if I'm doing something silly and she's laughing at it, like, she's actually like, this is my punchline, and she's my audience, and she's giving me a genuine, authentic, my mom is hilarious because she keeps making this face at me. Oh man, I'll make that face for as long as I can, and until the laugh starts dying down. And then I'm like,
just
okay,
like, oh no, am I bombing with my daughter?
Yeah,
what does that mean?
I'll go all the way till I lose the crowd.
So I do want to remind folks, again, just go to Anjelah's website if you want to know if she's coming to a city near you. You can also watch, again, the Spanish and English language versions of her latest show, Say I Won't. But I feel like you say it much better. Can you do the little...
Say I won't.
There it is. Say I Won't. It's available on YouTube. And please listen to the Fungela podcast. I feel like I need to incorporate more. You talk about the gratitudes and the matitudes. Like, I think I just need to acknowledge my feelings a little bit more.
Yeah.
And I feel like this is a good outlet for me to be able to do so. Anything else you want to share with your fans, with our listeners, about the work that you've got going on, or how they can find you?
I mean, if you are Spanish speaking or have any Spanish speaking friends, please share my Spanish special, Dígame que no. You can watch that on YouTube. And yeah, my podcast is Fungela. We come out every Tuesday. Premise is gratitude. We get to know each guest through the lens of gratitude. And we ask them 5 things that they're grateful for and 1 thing that they're mad about. That's their matitude. What makes you mad? What gets under your skin? That's your matitude. And so we do our 5 gratitudes and 1 matitude. And it's so fun to get to know people through that lens. And I just recently was able to interview one of my favorite comedians of all time, Brian Regan, and he came on the podcast and we got to sit down and get to know him, and it was so heartfelt and special, and I can't wait for people to hear that episode. But yeah, so it's Fungela every Tuesday.
Nice. And a reminder to folks, if you're either watching or listening, you can watch our conversation at starpicks.tv, which is STARPICKS.tv. You can also see some of the photos that we've taken. Anjelah took photos of her tacos. I've taken photos of my trout, my random smoked trout. Those will be available at wearecocina.com, and also follow us on all socials, which is at wearecocina, and myself at Xorje O, Xorjeo. But Anjelah, this has been a fantastic time. I wish you all the best during this tour. May everything continue to go safely and wonderfully, and may your daughter's laugh never cease to bring you joy. Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Takeout and Talk is a Cocina and Mecenas media production. It's hosted and produced by me, Xorje Olivares. Special thanks to Mecenas Chief Creative Officer, Sarah North, and its Head of O&O and Audience Development, Laura Del Progetto. For more Takeout and Talk, visit our YouTube page or wearecocina.com.